enjoy themselves, enjoy being who they are, to celebrate, and also to highlight our community and some of the past struggles and things that have happened to us, and how far we've actually come, and sometimes a little bit of the work that there is left to do.
We heard Sergeant Dick in that clip, Steve, in your conversation, saying this is an event that officers enjoy working. Is that the truth? Is that part of the gig here, one of the fun ones?
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's not often that police officers get to enjoy themselves in a fun event, and Pride is one of those events. So yeah, Sergeant Dick was bang on.
Absolutely, and the music's already going here as well. Bakari and Lena, the party is set to begin here along Church Street for the Village. A full weekend of celebrations. Of course, we'll have it all live here on CP24, including Sunday's parade. Back to you.
All right, always such a good time, and the countdown is certainly on. Beatrice and Steve, thanks so much for this. And a programming note now, Gian Lee and Bill Coulter will host our special live coverage of Toronto's Pride Parade on Sunday afternoon, starting at 2 o'clock. Okay. That's right here on CP24. The parade will also be live streamed on CP24.com and the CP24 app.
All right, it's 5:07. Let's get a check on the commute with CP24's traffic specialist, Adjoa Insia Yabwa. Adj.
Yeah, Bakari still dealing with quite a few problems and still watching issues slowing down that drive on the southbound lanes of the 427. This is just as you make your way through Finch. Looks like a lot of vehicles involved in this one. It's the right lane as well as that right shoulder that is occupied. A busy go on the 401 as you navigate across the top of the city and running into problems westbound 401 in the collectors just as you make your way west of the 410 403. It is a collision and it does have the left lane blocked. If your travels take you onto the southbound lanes of the 404, still eyeballing issues southbound 404. This is just on the approach to Finch. Find the HOV as well as those two left lanes blocked following this ongoing crash, and the delays are there from 16th. On city streets, crews on scene of an ongoing collision blocking lanes on Morningside right at the 404. I'll send it back to you, Lena Bakari.
This CP24 traffic report is brought to you by 407 ETR. Enjoy the journey with a stress-free commute.
A tow truck driver is facing a careless driving charge after a messy crash on the 401 in Scarborough this morning.
And Chopper 24 was over the scene. This is on the westbound 401 at Nielsen this morning. So OPP say a tow truck hauling a transport truck crashed into a concrete barrier. That resulted in a fire. The driver, who's facing charges, was also taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
And police are searching for suspects after two teenagers were shot in Flemington Park early this morning.
Yeah, police say that two teenage boys, they were shot near Grenoble Drive and Don Mills Road just before 2 o'clock this morning. And paramedics say that the victims are 17 and 18 years old. Both are in hospital in serious condition, but they are expected to survive. And police say that the Guns and Gangs unit is investigating. No arrests have been made.
Yeah, it was 3 loud bangs, and it was just really, really quick all in a row. It was close to 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was pretty frightening to wake up to be honest, yeah.
Did you know right away it was gunshots, or were you unsure of what the sound?
I was unsure, but then I saw you guys this morning while I was getting ready for work, and I was like, that was it. It's really sad that this is happening.
Police haven't released any suspect information in this case, and witnesses or anybody with footage of the shooting is asked to come forward.
Well, it's been another busy day at Toronto City Council. This is where tackling congestion downtown and speed cameras are up for discussion.
For more on all that's being talked about, let's go live to CP24's Melissa Duggan. It's been a busy day where you are, Melissa.
Certainly has, and the meeting's still underway right now. I want to tell you about a couple of things that came before council today when it comes to getting traffic moving. Some relatively small changes on the way for a relatively kind of small window of time as well. It all relates to the construction project that's happening right now at the intersection of King and Church. That intersection dug up, completely closed to traffic at the moment. Going to stay that way until probably the end of August. Replacing a water main there, also replacing streetcar tracks. Because of that, we are seeing more traffic volume in the downtown. It's also affecting transit, streetcars having been rerouted through the area. Also, some streetcars being replaced by buses. So one idea that came forward at City Council today that did get the okay, that was to change some of the loading zone rules on Adelaide. An adjustment is being made so that more traffic, including transit, could be zipping along Adelaide at a speedier pace. So that coming as a relief to some people. The other idea, a more expansive one that came before council today, from Councillor Brad Bradford. His idea along the King Street traffic corridor to change the rules. Right now, if you are just driving a regular vehicle, you can't turn at those, you can't go through intersections. You have to turn at intersections. He was saying we should change the rules so vehicular traffic could go straight through, allowing more speedy transits through that zone. However, there was an amendment that was made to that motion coming from Mayor Olivia Chow. She suggested shrinking that zone instead of being from Church to Spadina, as Bradford put forward. She said that it should happen just east of Yonge to Church Street, so a very small section there. That is what was given the okay by council today. And again, a small change only going to be in effect until probably the end of August. So we are getting some pushback to that smaller plan coming from Chow and council today, from councillors like Councillor Holiday. And we're also hearing from Councillor Paula Fletcher. She's asking, why didn't we come up with this idea earlier? Here they are.
If you're sitting in a car stuck in traffic, every little bit helps. And if it requires the city to put some plastic bags over signs and to reprogram some computers at 4 intersections, let's just get it done. Instead of lamenting about weeks of work to get it done, let's work through the night with wartime effort instead of having war on the car.
I think everybody cares about congestion, so if we can tweak something, let's tweak it. The best we can. As I said earlier, this was started at council in February. That would have really been the time to make big changes for the street, but that didn't happen in February or in March or in April. So here we are with about 6 weeks to go, and this is now we're into tinkering.
Now, still to come at the council meeting today, we're expecting to hear more about an idea coming from Councillor Anthony Peruzza. His suggestion is to pause speed cameras in the city for the next little while. Part of that idea, some of the criticism he has for those cameras, calling them speed traps, that they fail to slow down traffic. That will be discussed as the council looks at the wider issue of the city's Vision Zero road safety plan. And of course, all of this coming on the day as we're learning about 5 different speed cameras in the city being vandalized in just a 24-hour span this week. Toronto police confirming that with us. Their investigation, Lena Bakari, still underway. Back to you.
All right, Melissa Duggan live at Toronto City Hall. Thanks, Melissa. 5:13, 17 degrees, feeling more like 20 out there. You're watching Live at 5.
And Toronto police raising the alarm over pickpockets. More on where they're seeing an increase. That's coming up. A major new outdoor music video is opening in North York. It's happening this weekend.
Yeah, Rogers Stadium has a capacity of 50,000. CP24's Arda Zakarian joins us live with more on this, and we heard more from the Premier and the Mayor about this today, Arda.
That's right, and they have a standing date to go to Rogers Stadium to a concert of Mayor Olivia's choice. Now, Rogers Stadium, that name might sound familiar. Well, not to be confused with Rogers Centre by the CN Tower. These are two very separate things. Rogers Stadium is an temporary outdoor summer venue, and it has the capacity for 50,000 people. Rogers even set up a 5G network for the entire place, and we had a chance to speak with Councillor Pasternak, who is a councillor for this area. Here's what he had to say about the stadium.
We are holding our breath for Sunday night because that is when the first concert takes place, and we expect 50,000 people to be coming into the neighborhood. So there is a transit plan, there is a transportation plan, and a traffic management plan, and we hope it all works. But there are concerns.
Of course, there are concerns. Imagine all of those people, 50,000 people leaving all at the same time, and there's no parking on site. So anybody that's going is going to have to take the TTC or ride share. Now, TTC rides will be free out of the stadium all summer. And you can, if you really want to take your car, you can park in a TTC commuter lot and then take the subway the rest of the way. The closest subway station is Downsview Park Station. This is at the old Downsview Airport lands in North York. You can't bring backpacks. Here are some important things to know. No backpacks, only like a small clutch or a clear little bag. It's also a cashless venue, so download your credit cards if you can to your phone. and you should prepare for the weather. As you can see, it is completely outdoors. There is no shade, no shelter, so be prepared for that. There are some big names that are performing here, though. Coldplay is playing in July, Oasis in August, System of a Down in September, but the first concert is this Sunday, as Councillor Pasternak said, Sunday, June the 29th, and it's Stray Kids. Back to you.
Those are some really big names. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good summer. Thanks, Arda.
You're welcome.
Well, Toronto police, speaking of the good summer and the good times, are urging the public to be vigilant after seeing a spike in cell phone thefts at festivals.
Yeah, police say that there's been an increase in complaints about pickpockets targeting phones at festivals throughout 14 Division over the last 2 months. So phones are being stolen from bags, backpacks, pockets, and purses.
We would ask that everybody try and keep their belongings secure, because last year we did unfortunately have a large amount of pickpocketing going on, and we expect that there may be attempts to do that again this year. So we really want you to make sure that you've secured your belongings.
Police say you should keep your phones close to your body, but don't put it in your back pocket where it can easily be stolen.
It's 5:18, 17 degrees. This is Live at 5.
Some tense moments this afternoon as the Jays wrap up their series in Cleveland. We'll explain. We'll tell you about the drama coming up next.
Guerrero gets hit, and he is upset.
Welcome back. Well, CP24 caught up with the PWHL's newly minted Defender of the Year today.
Okay, for more on what the Toronto Scepter's own Renata Fast had to say, we have to turn to CP24, Sija Liu. Sija.
Is fast on both ends of the ice, earning her the Top Defender of the Year award at the PWHL. Her performance helped bring Toronto from the bottom of the standings to the second seed of the playoffs. And she has an impressive trophy collection. She is a two-time Olympic medalist, a world champion, and now she is also Defender of the Year. But let's talk about some of her stats from the season. She finished with 22 points in 30 games. She also put up 6 goals, and she led the league in assists with 16 assists, and another one, she had 63 hits, so you know she is aggressive, and she also played a lot. No player spent more time on the ice than Fast. She averaged over 24 minutes a game, showing everyone why she is Toronto's go-to defender in all situations. But off the ice, she also says it is great to win this award to inspire the younger generation. The PWHL is in its second season. Lots of young girls go to watch the games, holding up posters, and Fast says she hopes to be an inspiration to all of those young girls. In the off-season, she says she'll be training, prepping for the Olympics, prepping for next season, and we spoke to her about what her goals are for next year. Take a listen.
I think the ultimate goal is to win the Walter Cup. I mean, we're 3 seasons in, and Toronto has had some incredible teams, but we haven't been able to cross that finish line. And we know how important hockey is in the city of Toronto, so there would be no bigger goal than to bring home the Walter Cup and celebrate with our city.
And speaking about the PWHL going into its 3rd season, it's also going to be expanding. Right now, there are 6 teams, but 2 teams will be joining next year. That is Seattle and Vancouver, making it an 8-team season. And Renata says she is just excited to be a part of this league that is growing. And she also on the side has a camp for young girls. So she'll be really busy this offseason, prepping for the next season and being a part of this PWHL growth. Lena Bakari.
All right, what a superstar. Sija Liu reporting live from our newsroom. Thanks so much, Sija. Well, speaking of superstars, Leafs general manager Brad Treliving says Mitch Marner is likely to hit the open market in free agency.
I wouldn't say a whole lot of change right now. Obviously, we're approaching free agency. We've had communication. I probably describe it unless there's, a significant change here. I would anticipate that he's going to hit the market, and we'll see where things go.
Marner has spent his entire 9-year career with the Leafs and his 5th in franchise history in points. Free agency begins July 1st.
Well, some drama on the field as the Blue Jays wrapped up their series in Cleveland this afternoon.
And now Guerrero gets hit, and he is upset.
Oh, so it started when Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning. He left the game with a right forearm contusion. That was followed an inning later by Jays starter Kevin Gausman hitting the Guardians' Jose Ramirez. And Gausman allowed just 2 hits over 8 innings, and the Jays blanked the Guardians 6-0 to take 2 of 3 games in Cleveland.
It is 5:24 now, 17 degrees. You've been watching Live at 5 on Toronto's Breaking News, CP24.
It was a very happy birthday for a Scarborough senior. More on the unexpected but welcome gift after the break.
Welcome back. The contributions of the Italian-Canadian community are being celebrated today.
And Cardinal Frank Leo was there to oversee the reveal of the Italian-Canadian Immigrant Tribute Wall at Dufferin and Lawrence. The Cardinal, who attended the recent conclave where the new Pope was chosen, was there to bless the monument. It was built to mark the efforts and contributions Italian immigrants have made to Canada.
And the MP for the area says this is a really big day for the Canadian-Italian community.
It's really important to support our community. You know, this is memory of my dad who came to this country with nothing. It's really important to be here to recognize the importance that the Canadian-Italian community has made here in Canada. Very exciting day.
And with that, June is officially Italian Heritage Month right here in this country.
Well, Scarborough Senior received a big surprise for her 83rd birthday.
Virginia Zampanta checked her lottery ticket on her birthday, and she discovered she'd won $1 million Max Millions prize in the April 25th Lotto Max draw. So Zapanata says that this is hands down one of her favorite birthdays ever, adding that 83 is my year.
Clearly.
Zapanata plans to share with her family, pay off her mortgage, and treat herself to a shopping spree at the mall.
I mean, nothing says happy birthday like $1 million. Happy birthday, Virginia. 5:28, 17 degrees. This is Live at 5.
And we're tracking all the excitement along Church Street as Pride weekend quickly approaches. More on the preparations coming up. We're just days away from Toronto's Pride Parade. We've got the latest on preparations. Plus, we chat one-on-one with Chief Myron Dimhue in the Gay Village.
And we have a sneak peek tonight of Toronto's newest open-air music venue. More than 50,000 concert goers can enjoy some of the biggest shows at Rogers Stadium. The TTC and GO Transit offering free rides to fans.
Construction and congestion. Toronto City Council takes another look at how to get Toronto moving. Plus, Councillor Anthony Peruzza suggests pausing the city's speed camera program. This is after 5 cameras are vandalized over a 24-hour span.
You're watching Live at 5. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Lena Latifat.
I'm Bakari Savage. It's been another busy day at Toronto City Hall. This is where navigating what feels like endless construction and congestion has been up for discussion.
Plus, one city councillor is pushing to halt Toronto's speed camera program after 5 cameras were vandalized. Let's go live to CP24's Melissa Duggan, who's been following discussions very closely for us. Melissa.
Yeah, so a lot happening here. And when it comes to those speed cameras, I mean, unrelated, but certainly speaks to the frustration that I think a lot of people may have when it comes to those speed cameras. Toronto police confirming to us that 5 of those speed cameras were vandalized in just the span of 24 hours. Their probe into that underway. Meanwhile, we're hearing from Toronto Councillor Anthony Peruzza today saying that he wants to put forward this idea to City Council about halting, just putting a pause on these speed cameras, at least for now, as he's addressing some of the concerns he's hearing about from some of the people in his ward. He says that these speed cameras are speed traps that fail to slow down traffic. And he's expected to bring forward this idea when City Council is discussing the city's Vision Zero road safety plan. I want to share more of what he's saying about it all.
You want folks to be reminded that if they don't change their behavior and slow down, then they will get that fine. So let's do that. And I think there are a number of things that we can look at to do that, to make the program more effective. I believe in Vision Zero, but I don't believe in just willy-nilly sort of speed traps.
I know some of the discussion that may surround that may be just kind of to include bigger, more clear signage when it comes to where these speed traps are located. Certainly going to be interesting what more is said about that later today. We can also tell you that Mayor Olivia Chow just recently rejoining the council meeting. She was here for the first part of the meeting today, and then she had to leave. There were a couple of appearances that she made with Premier Doug Ford. I know we'll be talking about some of that later on today here on CP24. So she's back in council to talk about this road safety plan and also to discuss another matter that's been getting a lot of attention this week, and that is the city's heat strategy. We know there's been some criticism while this heat warning was in effect earlier this week when it comes to help the most vulnerable people in our community, and also when it comes to pools. We know that there were some city pools that were shut down during that heat warning. All of that expected to be discussed today. And I'm also hearing talk here, Bakari and Lena, of just how long this council meeting may be going on for. I'm hearing anything from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock tonight. So still lots happening here at City Hall. Back to you.
Okay, could be a long night then. Melissa, thanks so much for this. Certainly a long drive out there. 5:34, 17 degrees. Let's talk more about that commute with CP24's traffic specialist, Adjoa and Siayabwa.
Well, you know, Lena, not a lot of driving going on because people are just stuck in the backlog of traffic. If you're making your way out, patience is what you're going to need. But still watching a problem which hopefully looks like it's about to clear. This is the southbound 427 as you make your way through Finch. Can't see the lane block, but you can see the vehicles off to the side. That right lane is still the lane that was occupied. But you know what? Cars are traveling through, so a little bit of good news. Unfortunately, though, there is still a bit of a backlog just as you do make your way through. And then headed towards the 401, it looks like all earlier issues have finally cleared. Still a busy drive across the top of the city. And on the southbound lanes of the 404, it is very slow. The delays actually start from 16th. They continue down to Finch. And even more good news, not the delays, but we were dealing with a collision at one point. It was the HOV as well as the two left lanes that were blocked at the collision. That problem did clear. I'll send it back to you both.
All right, thanks a lot, Adj. Okay, now to Toronto's Village. This is where the countdown to a packed weekend of Pride festivities is on, with the big parade set for this Sunday.
Yeah, Toronto police are outlining their plans, and we're also hearing directly from Toronto's top cop, Myron Demkew. Let's go live to CP24's Beatrice Faisman for all the details. Tell us more about your conversation with the chief, B.
Well, Lena Bakari, I was able to join the chief on an exclusive tour for CP24 down the village. We started at a mural down at Church and Carlton, a mural that's dedicated to the 1981 bathhouse raids. The liaison officer for the Toronto Police Service for the LGBTQ2S+ community was able to educate 28 newly minted inspectors for the Toronto Police Service. These are now senior officers who have to have a solid understanding as to how various communities that they serve now in this city operate and what those relationships look like and what does relationship building look like. And so as we walked down Church Street, I had a conversation with the chief, namely the fact that here we are 25 years this September since the Pussy Palace raids back in September 2000. This was a raid on a women's bathhouse on Mutual Street here in the village, a raid that the chief was not only a part of organizing as an officer, but was one of the officers who went and executed that raid. When the chief put his name in to become chief, there was a lot of people here in this community, in the LGBT community, who had a lot of questions. How could someone who was involved in this raid that was actually criticized by a judge at the time, how are they seeking the top job in policing in this city? And so today I asked the chief, what have you learned over the course of the last 25 years since you were involved in that raid? You said you were part of the morality squad back then. How do you view that now, and what kind of work have you done since becoming chief in terms of repairing those bridges, making those relationships, and rebuilding the trust of this community? And here's one of his answers.
We really are working towards having a relationship with the community that is based on humility by us, where we listen and do our very best to seek first to understand the community before we seek to be understood ourselves. And we are doing that in a number of ways. And operationally, we are focusing on co-designing, co-developing, co-delivering community safety and well-being with our communities. So whatever we do is informed and lockstep partnership with the communities we serve. And we're doing that here very much in this community.
And the chief spoke to me and to these newly minted senior officers about the need to invest in communities, the need to rebuild trust as well. And he talked about doing that with an understanding of the history, the challenging history between this community and the police. And it's a challenging history that for many, it's still a challenging relationship here in this community. I want to bring in our crime analyst, Steve Ryan, who's with me here in the Village. When you hear about the morality squad and you know, this unit that the chief was then an officer involved in. What is that squad, Chief? Steve.
Thanks for the promotion. Yeah, well, we had a morality squad. The police had a morality squad back in the early 2000s. They enforced morality laws, and many people have said, whose morals are you enforcing? So they've gone away with that squad, and rightfully so, if you ask me. But the chief was part of a squad that enforced the morality laws, and he was part of that raid on that bathhouse. The service has since apologized and said that was a big mistake. The chief has said it was a big mistake, and some have forgiven, and some, the scars are so deep that they can't forgive. But this is still a work in progress when it comes to the relationship between the Toronto Police and this community.
It's a working relationship. I mean, during the weekend of Pride, police are here. They are visible. They are kind of entrenched in this community to ensure the safety of the millions of people that come to Toronto to enjoy the Pride festivities. What did you hear today about the safety plan for this weekend?
So this plan started last year, and they're going to treat this celebration like any other large celebration when it comes to the amount of officers you're going to see, the amount of planning that's gone into this, and the fencing and the blocked roads. All of that will be in place to make sure that everybody has a good time. Now, we did hear from the chief superintendent earlier on here in the Village with regards to this organization, and here's what he said. Let's have a listen to this.
This year, we will be prepared for any potential disruptions. Again, we don't have any information leading or about that. But we will work closely with the Pride organizers, and ultimately that decision will rest in their hands. And our role will be to help inform their decision-making process, support the decision that's made, and make sure it's carried out in a safe and effective manner.
And part of Pride as well is having fun here in the Village. I don't know if you can hear it. The music is going. People are already walking up and down this roads that are closed now only for pedestrians, but for anyone coming down, it's a great time as always. Back to you.
Okay, CP24's Beatrice Vaisman and crime analyst Steve Ryan. Thanks a lot. And also a programming note, Ji-Yeon Lee and Bill Coulter, they will be hosting our special live coverage of Toronto's Pride Parade Sunday afternoon starting at 2 o'clock right here on CP24. Also, the parade is going to be live streamed on CP24.com and the CP24 app.
5:40, 17 degrees. You're watching Live at 5.
Well, the PWHL's Defender of the Year talking to CP24 today. More from Renata Fass as she looks ahead to what's coming next. That's after the break.
Welcome back. Well, music lovers, concert goers, this one's for you. A major new outdoor music venue is coming to Toronto. It's opening in North York this weekend. Rogers Stadium has a capacity of 50,000, and the TTC and GO Transit have announced free transit for those fans leaving this new venue.
Okay, for more, we have to bring in CP24's Arda Zakarian. And Arda, we need the details.
Okay, so it's called Rogers Stadium. You might think, that sounds familiar. No, it's not Rogers Centre. That's something totally different. Keep that in mind. That's by the CN Tower. This is Rogers Stadium, which is at the old Downsview Airport lands in North York. Now, the first concert happens this Sunday, June the 29th, and this is Toronto's newest outdoor stadium. 50,000 people, as you said, and Rogers actually built a 5G network for all those 50,000 people so they can all post to social media. And the premier said that he's ready to take Mayor Olivia Chow out on a date using a tandem bicycle so that she can drink, he can drive. Anyway, we had a chance to catch up with Councillor Pasternak today at City Council, who does have some concerns.
Well, this is a neighborhood that's just not used to 50,000 people coming in. And even if you have 50% or 70% coming by transit, you'll have tens of thousands of cars. Now, we're encouraging people to park at TTC commuter parking lots because that's really the only parking that's available. Take the subway closest to the venue and walk from there.
You know, he touched on such a great point. There is no public parking at Rogers Stadium, which means the best way to get there is by transit, by the TTC, and the closest subway station is Downsview Park Station. You can always use rideshare as well. TTC rides out of Rogers Stadium will be free, as we said off the top, all summer long, so all those 50,000 people will be going home for free. You can't bring any backpacks to the stadium. Keep that in mind if you do have a concert this summer. Only a small bag or a clear bag. It's also a cashless venue, and you should prepare for the weather. Look, there is no cover. There is no shelter. It's all outdoors, rain or shine. Be prepared for this. But there are some really big names playing at this concert venue this summer. Coldplay is playing there in August. In July. Coldplay is there in July. Oasis is there in August. System of a Down is there in September. But the first concert is going to be Stray Kids this Sunday, June the 29th. Have you guys heard of them, Stray Kids?
Nope.
No,
Bakari?
either.
I used to listen to K-pop.
Okay.
Yeah, it is K-pop. There you go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
but that was in my 20s.
So long time ago.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Artisan Carrier reporting live. Thanks so much. Can't wait to see the new venue. Well, CP24 caught up with the PWHL's newly minted Defender of the Year today.
And for more on what the Toronto Scepter's own Renata Fast had to say, we turn to CP24 Sija Lu. Hey, Sija.
Hey, Lena Bakari. Well, Renata Fast is a two-time Olympic medalist, a world champion, and now she can add PWHL Defender of the Year to her trophy case. She won this award after being known for being fast on the ice, on both sides of the ice, and she helped Toronto climb from the bottom of the standings all the way up to the second playoff seed. Some of the stats to share with you that led to this award: she finished with 22 points in 30 games. She put up 6 goals this season in Toronto and also led the league in assists with 16. And she was also really aggressive, finishing the season with 63 hits. And no other player spent more time on the ice this season than Fast, averaging over 24 minutes of ice time per game, showing you why she is the go-to defender for Toronto in all situations. But she also says she takes her role very seriously because she wants to inspire the next generation. Lots of young girls go to the PWHL game holding up their posters, coming out to watch the players, and she says she hopes she can inspire each and every one of these young girls. She also hosts a camp in the off-season to help inspire the next generation. We spoke to her about her plans for the off season. Take a listen.
We have a lot of exciting things coming up this year. It's also an Olympic year in February. So not only am I prepping for the Scepter season next year, but also national team commitments. So just looking forward to getting back on the ice in the gym. So I'm as prepared as possible for this upcoming season.
And we also asked her what her goal is for the next season. And like any true competitor, she says she wants to win the Walter Cup. But the PWHL is expanding. It's going into its 3rd season next year, and 2 more teams are being added, Seattle and Vancouver, making it an 8-team league. So a bit more competition next year for her if she wants to get the Walter Cup. But she is finishing off this season strong with Defender of the Year. Lena Bakari.
Okay, joining us live from the newsroom, CP24 is Sija Lu. Thanks, Sija. It's 5:48, 17 degrees. This is Live at 5.
A major piece of legislation makes its way through the Senate. What that means for Mark Carney's government, that's still to come.
Well, the Senate has passed Bill C-5. That's the Liberal government major projects bill.
The legislation gives Ottawa the power to fast-track projects intended to boost the national economy by sidestepping environmental protections and other legislation. The legislation has angered Indigenous and environmental groups who criticize the government for rushing to grant itself sweeping new powers to speed up development. And the federal government is providing $2.4 million to the Toronto Region Board of Trade. This is to help businesses adopt artificial intelligence.
This program will allow up to 75 small, medium-sized businesses and 460 participants across Southern Ontario to receive targeted training, mentorship, advisory service to help build that foundational AI knowledge and adopt advanced AI solutions.
The Carney government has allocated $2 billion to try to help Canada become a leader in artificial intelligence across a variety of sectors.
Well, the University of Toronto is opening its doors to international students from Harvard as U.S. President Donald Trump tries to cut off enrollment of foreign students at the Ivy League school.
The Munk School of Global Affairs and Public Policy at U of T says it'll welcome returning international grad students from Harvard Kennedy School if they're not able to be in the U.S. due to visa restrictions. The U of T says this would not reduce the number of spaces available for its students. Trump has been warring with Harvard for months after it rejected a series of demands meant to address conservative complaints that the school has become too liberal.
5:53, 17 degrees. This is Live at 5.
And we're breaking down new numbers when it comes to national pride, just in time for Canada Day next week. With Canada Day less than a week away, a new survey is taking the temperature on national pride.
With more on this, we're joined live tonight by Sarah Kapp, president of the Harris Poll Canada. Sarah, good to have you on the program. Thanks so much for joining us. Look, we got to talk about the timing here. We're in the midst of a heated trade war with the U.S. What are Canadians saying about how they're feeling ahead of Canada Day?
Yeah, it's a really interesting time for sure. We're definitely seeing still this heightened sense of Canadian pride leading into Canada Day. And we're seeing Canadian pride still running strong. From our latest poll that we ran with Petro-Canada for the Live by the Leaf Index, we saw that 62% of Canadians are saying that they're very proud to be Canadian, and we're seeing this sense of confidence in our country and in being Canadian. So we're also seeing that 62% of Canadians say they feel more confident now that Canadians can survive and thrive amidst a lot of the uncertainty that we're facing at the moment.
Sarah, what did you notice when it comes to different age groups?
So what we saw that was really striking was that this sense of Canadian pride is really unified quite consistently across age groups. But if we see any spike, it's certainly amongst the boomers where pride is a little bit higher. But I would say it's definitely a sentiment that's felt across Canada by region and by demographics as well.
You know, what's so interesting and perhaps not so surprising about all of this isn't just what Canadians are saying, it's also what they're doing. 96% of Canadians say they've adopted at least a few new behaviors in the midst of this war. Many are prioritizing Canadian-made products. They're buying fewer American goods. They're considering more Canadian vacation destinations as well. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing in this latest poll that 82% of Canadians are saying that they're going to stay local this summer when they're thinking about their summer vacations. And that's a really big jump from last year. So we're seeing at the same time international travel is down, especially travel to the US, where it's actually almost been cut in half, going from 15% in 2024 down to 8% this year. So I think we're seeing Canadians looking to stay local, explore local, and support local as well. So we're seeing it with their wallets and supporting local businesses and looking to buy Canadian wherever possible.
Okay, Sarah Kapp, president of the Harris Poll Canada. Thank you very much for taking time to, share the national pride and sentiment as we approach Canada Day.
No shortage of that national pride and unity, that's for sure. Sarah, thanks so much. 5:59, 17 degrees, feeling more like 20 out there. You've been watching Live at 5 on Toronto's breaking news, CP24.
Thank you for watching. CTV News at 6 is next.